Hey YouTube, Flightsimguy here. I am in my brand new FlightFactor 757. Oh, for the love of God. I thought I had an external key set up. What the hell? Oh, fine. Yes, I'm in my brand new FlightFactor 757. And what I want to do today is take a moment to go over the startup. Now, why is that worthy a discussion? Well, I've gone through the startup several times with the FSX add-ons for the 757, the quality wings, and the Captain Sim. Uh, I want to say the flow and the checklist should remain the same, but this is explained, and the usability is a little bit different. That's the reason why I want to take the time to go through this. First thing I want to do is, with this plane, plug in 757 General. Here you can set stuff up. Ground. Let's go and put a passenger bus and fuel truck and chocks and 40,000 pounds of fuel. That's fine. And let's go ahead and save config, save options, and okay, save config, okay. And you can also do your public announcements here from the communication panel in the center pedestal. Failures, about, ground, whatnot. Alright, so I want to make this quick. I already ran through this, but I had to stumble my way through it. And I figure if I'm going to go ahead and post something on YouTube, I may as well do a decent job of it. Alright, so first, let's go ahead and set the emergency brakes. Okay, there we go. Next thing we want to do is go to our overhead and get juice going to the batteries. Now before I do anything there, let me show that. See this right here? Let me find a knob to work with. This right here, let me go ahead and zoom in. The default interface for X-Plane, as you may recall, the mouse scroll wheel zooms in. I can use my left and right and arrow keys to move around from a specific view. Let me go ahead and zoom in to these knobs right here. Now when you see this, okay, what that means is clicking left or right is not going to do anything. Well, what you got to do is do left click and drag to one side. Or drag. In this case, you got to drag left. Okay? Or up or down. And you get the idea. That's how you move a lot of the stuff. See? But, check this out. If you go to plugin 757 General, this mouse wheel, I want to say that changes. See, you get this little sign, and then you can use your scroll wheel. For me, that works better, so I'm going to go ahead and stick with that. And with that interface on, I should fly through the startup a lot faster. Alright, so let's go back. Here, left click, move it up. Turn on the master battery. Move it down or up again to close it. Let's go ahead and turn on the APU generator. We'll close our bus ties and make sure our utility buses are on. And then let's give some fuel to the fuel system. 4,000 pounds of fuel. Oh, pathetic. Alright. And next, let's go ahead and get the APU going. Now, see, I have the sign over it, so I should be able to just scroll up. And that should get it started. Alright. Now, let's see here. 3. Yes, that changed. That took. If I come down here, click on my status. So the engine status, obviously there's no engine running. Status on my APU. Go back up to the overhead panel. Run is on, so good. My APU is going. Next, I want to go ahead and let's align the INS. Click to align, and then come down here. Index. I'm not going anywhere. I just want to align the INS. I'm at KCMH. And I put this down here, and I put this in here, and that should get the align process going. Next, turn on the yaw dampers. I want my hydraulic engine pumps to be on. The electrical ones, I'll keep them off for now, otherwise I'll put a drain on the APU. The last time I tried this, I turned on my engine generators here. Then once I actually got the engines going, they wouldn't turn on. So I'm just going to leave my engine generators off for now. I'll turn them on after I fired up the engines. Next, these are your floodlights. Turn them on as needed. These are your runway turn-off lights. You can turn these on and off as needed. Arm emergency lights. I imagine you want to do that one first. Passenger oxygen, ram your turbine. Leave those the way they are. Engine ignition, you alternate back and forth. I'll go ahead and leave it up to both, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Okay, these are all flashing a line. And let's see. There we go. Still not aligned. Let's go to the FMS. Let's go ahead and try this again. And there we go. Now we're good. It's a little bit ass backwards, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Alright, continuing with the flows. Engine ignition, we'll get to that in a moment. Fuel pumps are on. Anti-ice use as needed. It's warm enough, we don't need them. These are your external lights. I'll go ahead and turn on the position lights and wings. Landing lights will turn on once you get onto the runway, which we're not doing today. Window heat, turn these on. These are your PA announcements. I'll show you how to do that with a special interface. Passenger signs, turn these on. These are pressurization controls. Your landing altitude, you configure those as needed. Equipment cooling, don't use that in simulation. These are your lights. You can turn these on as needed. It's the daytime right now, so that doesn't matter. Some more lights you can turn on as needed, and even more lights. Come up here. This is your air conditioning. Turn on your trim air. Put these at auto. I'm using my scroll wheel here. And this, your packs. Go ahead and turn these on. And this. Now I imagine you'd want to turn on the air conditioning system immediately after you turn on the APU, so your passengers don't burn up. And this will go ahead and crank once it's time to. Actually, we'll just do it now. Actually, you should do it when you're about to start your engines, I think. Don't quote me. Alright, so we're done with the overhead panel for now. Let's do our guidance panel. Alright, so we're on runway 10, heading. See this little thingy right here? You can change your bank limit. That's this right here, see? That's your bank angle limit. Just go ahead and leave it at normal. But what you want is a heading. Just come over here. This little, see, the thingy gets smaller and big. When it's small, you can change the heading. So let's go ahead and change it to 100. And this button, once you click it, it tells the autopilot, forget about everything else. Just go where this number is. It fly as it's heading. Otherwise, if you click hold, wherever the aircraft is going, it's going to hold that heading. So you use this to engage the heading bug. Alright? Auto throttle on off, flight director on off, and here is your airspeed for the auto throttle. Whoa. Now that's a problem with the mouse wheel. Got to be careful with it. So come right here. You can change your airspeed, engine pressure ratio, auto throttle speed, LNAV, VNAV, flight level change, and here's your vertical speed. Here you can up and down with your scroll wheel. Vertical speed is click this right here. Here's you set your altitude. Again, got to be careful. One little move and you're in zoom mode. Autopilot disengage. Autopilot engage left, right, and center. So right here. Flight director for the first officer. And these right here, I want to say these are the nav1 radios. Again, the mouse on the big number, when it's big, it's the number on the left. When it's small, it's the number on the right. I'm using the scroll wheel again. And over here, you just use a scroll wheel to change your course. Alright, let's go ahead and move down. Use scroll wheel again. Rejected takeoff. These are your flap settings. I already have buttons on that for flaps. Takeoff, climb, 1, 2, cruise, continuous and cruise. And this is your temperature select for derating your engines. Again, here it is right there. Just go ahead and use your mouse scroll wheel. Alternate flaps, hardly ever use those. Leave it at engine display. Engines aren't on yet. Barometer, let's go ahead and fix that. Columbus is 800. Up and down with the scroll wheel again. And moving down. The EFIS, here you can do your decision height. Right here. And here you can change what shows up here. Alright, so let's go ahead and do ILS, which I want to say uses the VOR or NAV1. I'm sorry, NAV2. See, this doesn't change it. But if you come to here, you'd have to zoom out. It's the radio all the way down here, which is going to cause problems when you have to line up with the ILS. Figure out another way to do that. Alright, moving on. As I said before, this controls the EFIS. This is your range on here. Let's go ahead and put it on map mode. This controls the range. And this controls whether it's ILS, map, this and that and whatnot. Right here is your spoilers, trim, flaps, EFIS for the first officer. These are your two FMSs or flat management computers or whatever. I'm not sure what these are. These are your fuel cutoff knobs, trim indicator. Let's come over here. And these are your fuel cutoff switches. These are your fire extinguishers for the left and right engines. Here are your weather radar settings. And as you can see, just mouse over and change as needed. This is your backup HF radio, I think. Mic selector. Okay, so let's say you want to make an announcement. What you do is you click on, oops, PA. Welcome aboard. Hit play.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain and crew would like to welcome you on board this Boeing 757-200
this is your ADF,
airliner.
left and right
If
ADF.
you haven't already done so,
And
please throw your carry-on luggage underneath the seat in front of you. Or
stand
in
by. I want to say
the flight crew will do everything
here we go.
possible to make your flight comfortable and enjoyable.
This one here
Explain.org, onesim.com,
controls
Advanced Aviation Design. Wish you a pleasant flight experience.
the course needle once you have this over here. But as you can see, if you're flying a real plane, it's pretty convenient. You just move your hand down here and you just change it, but you can't do both of them at the same time. It's a real pain in the butt. Oh well, whatever. Here's your transponder. Just go to TARA when you're ready. This is your VOR, your nav 1 or nav 2. I want to say this is nav 2. The other one is nav 1. Here are your rudder and aileron trims. And you have some more fire extinguishing things up here. Cargo fire. You're never actually going to use this. APU fire. You can extinguish that there. More communication buttons and whatnot for the first officer. And I want to say that's a quick run through. Now, let's go ahead and start the engines. The last time I couldn't get the generators on. Let's see if I get lucky this time. Alright, so to start the engines, what I need to do is turn off packs. Alright, so the passengers aren't getting any air now. And if you've ever flown, you notice just before the engines get started, the air conditioning, the fans, the air pressure goes to 0. That's because the bleed air that normally uses to power the AC is now going to the engines. So let's go ahead and try engine number 2. And let's see what happens. There we go. And engine number 2 is spooling up. And all we got to do is go to a position where we can get the buttons right here. What the fuck did I just do? Did that flap just move? Okay, I must have bumped something. Alright, I can go ahead and put fuel. There we go. And engine 2 is spooling up. Okay, now let's do engine number 1. All right. And there goes engine number 1. And let's go ahead and give it fuel. Actually, somewhere in here it should be saying IGN for ignition. Oh well. There we go. There goes engine number 1. And now comes the big test. Well, let's go ahead and turn on packs. There we go. Alright, let's see. Will my generators work this time? Hold on to your butts. Oh shit, I've been using external power the whole time. Alright. That's fine. I have an APU, I have an external power unit outside. APU generators on. Let's see what happens. There we go. I had to disconnect the external power, and there we go. We're on the generators. Good to know. All right. Let's look at over here. Now that we got the engines going, we can go ahead and turn on all the hydraulic pumps, all the electrical ones, left and right. And annunciator panel up here is clear. Let's go through our flows again. Well, that's good. That should have been an auto. I can't believe I actually missed that. This is all good. Those DC fail lights are off. This is all good. Down here, and you can turn on landing lights since I'm on the runway now. And coming down here. That's all. Turn these lights on. Those are all good. This is all good here. And let's go ahead and come back over here, and we're at parking brake, low fuel, fuel config, and that's it. Now at this point, I go through and run through the checklist. If I actually wanted to take off, all I have to do at this point is give it 2 notches of flaps, derate my engines, and get rid of all of this stuff. Because I remember I have all these guys out here, so I want to get rid of the bus, get rid of the fuel truck, get rid of the APU, and then I can take off. Should also get some liveries for this. And I want to say that is it. That's a quick and dirty power up for the FlightFactor 757. Obviously, I'm still not ready for takeoff yet. Some other things I got to do. I also have to run through the entire checklist, derate the engines, get everything set up. But for the most part, this is it. And I figured out how to get the generator working. So, all right, I'll go ahead and leave it at that for now. Dinner awaits. Flightsimguy here. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. I'm not even going to edit this video.